My name is Jerry Yakumelos and welcome to the Gemological and Jewellery Book Club. This is the first video of the channel and is basically an introduction to myself, if you don't know me already, and to this channel. The Gemological and Jewellery Book Club is dedicated as a resource for those who are in the gem and jewellery trade, enthusiasts, collectors, or anyone who simply may be interested in these and related topics. We all have different reasons for starting a library. You might be a jeweller, so you collect books on making jewellery, designing, or other jewellery houses. You could be a jewellery valuer, so you maintain a reference library on antique jewellery, watches and gemstones. A gem dealer may collect only books about gems, and if you're a diamond and pearl dealer, you might limit your field of interest just to diamonds and pearls. You don't even need to be in the trade and could simply be a hobbyist collecting gemstones or minerals and collect reference books in your field of interest. No matter what, as a minimum, if you are in the trade, I consider having a reference library a vital tool to have. Just like a gem dealer cannot do without his loupe, or a jeweller without his saw. From a very young age, I can remember always collecting different things, and starting with the most basic stamps, coins, mineral specimens, to the more obscure, for example, cigarette boxes and matchboxes. It wasn't until just before I went to the GIA in 1982, 17 at the time, that I was gifted my first book, right here, Diamonds by Eric Bruton. As you can see, it's well worn. While at the GIA, I learned about many other authors, Tavernier, Kunz, Sinkankas, Anderson, and many others. During my stay in Santa Monica, I had the opportunity to go to a gem and mineral show along with some of my classmates. I don't remember the name of the show, unfortunately. At this particular show, there was a stand which sold old and new books. It was the first time I had experienced so many books on gemstones and jewellery in one spot. Also, there was nothing like it at the time in Australia. Going through all of these, I had my eye on two books. One was the first English edition of Tavernier. I think it was 1677 from memory, and the other was a signed edition of Kunz's Gems and Precious Stones, 1890. They were both similar in price, around $300 each, but being a student I could not afford to get both, unfortunately. Finally I decided on the Kunz, thinking that because it was signed, it's signed in the front here, just there, signed, it was more unique. It was this book that started me on the long and slippery slope of book collecting. As an aside, I should have purchased the Tavernier. That book has increased in value to about 12,000, while the Kunz may be the same or a little bit more than what I paid for it in 1982. Who knew? Over the years, I have gone through many phases and interests in collecting, but the one constant that never changed was the collecting of books. Back in the old days, one of the ways to find books was to visit bookstores or subscribe to specialist booksellers like Johnson Kankas's Perry Lytton. I always look forward to receiving his latest catalogue in the mail. Being from Australia, my resources were extremely limited, and every time I visited a new city for business, I always allocated a day to do some book hunting. Going into antiquarian bookshops, the smell of the paper, flipping through the pages, the excitement of finding a new book to add, or an old book to add to the shelves. That was the thrill for me. These days, with the advent of the internet, you don't have to leave your home. This opened up a whole new world in which I will cover in a later video. For me personally, you cannot beat the hunt. I don't follow any particular topic in my collecting. All languages are fair game. I might find some of interest, or it could be a bargain. On occasion, I might find a book or a new one has recently been published. However, I don't have the funds at the time, or maybe my excess baggage won't permit buying it. So I put it on a wish list, and when and if I find it again, I know it was one of the ones that got away before. For those who are just starting, a little word of advice. It can get expensive, it can take up a lot of space, and it can certainly cause a lot of tension between couples. Don't say you haven't been warned. Okay, now let's take the plunge. What are we going to do with this channel? We will go into book reviews, unboxings, all aspects of collecting, talk to collectors, visit libraries, where to find books, caring for your library, just to name a few. I understand that people these days are very busy or simply have a short attention span, so I'll try to keep the length to each video 10 minutes long. If the topic takes longer, then I might do it in parts. In this way, it'll be easier for somebody to go over and review the video if they need to find some specific information, instead of having to go through one video that's an hour long just to find a small part of it. It's the beginning of the channel, and I'm sure that the videos will get better in quality over time. So please forgive me for any mistakes made in editing, sound, or any of the 1 million things that can go wrong. It's all a learning curve for me. As for the frequency of videos, I think one per week to start, which will hopefully be uploaded on a Friday, so you can have the weekend to view it at your leisure. If you came across this video by accident and are interested in this topic, I will leave a link down below so you can join the club. Remember, answer the questions, as it is a private group, otherwise you will not be accepted. Finally, for those who have watched until this point, thank you so much. It makes it all worthwhile. Something else that makes it worthwhile is to subscribe, push the notification button, and press the Pollux Versus button. Feel free to leave a comment, good or bad. They are all appreciated. Thank you for watching, and happy collecting.